So Inca staying solidly up here in the mountains at the moment. Although all of this is mountain, so if they brought their armies down and started fortifying these guys, for example, in fact they would have to defend quite a lot, then they could try to force some battles. The other question is forts. Have Inca been building forts? Not really. That's a level 6. That's a level 6. That's a 6. That's a 7. That's a 6. Okay. I stand corrected. They have been. They don't have any down here in the far south. But when it comes to like the Incan core territories, then yes, they are fortified. Then they have a couple here in the north. Although this would be a pretty easy place to just do a naval invasion and land and attack that stuff. Like Texas could probably just board some ships and head over here. Meanwhile, battle up here. So we definitely have troops starting to mass, expecting a fight here at Muncie. There are some rivers. Okay, Britain's offering peace. United States will cede 1, 2, 3 provinces. And war score is still way below the 50 required to start forcing peace deals. Yeah, that's true, there is in there. There you go. That shows you where the zones of control are. So yes, Inca has got a pretty solid zone of control over this region over here. Although Andalusia is currently attacking this fort. They're attacking that one as well. This is a mountain fort. This is one that Inca should be contending. Because Brazil cannot come around the top. They have to come through here. Because these forts are protecting that flank. Incas should be fighting this. Well, except for the fact that they are massively outnumbered. They are probably waiting for Texas to arrive. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Have they set up the defensive edict? They have not. Nope. They should definitely be doing defensive edicts just to buy themselves more time for their Texan allies to arrive. And Texas and Andalusia are probably two of the most fearsome militaries in terms of unit bonuses. So Inca and Brazil are probably going to be side factors here. This is truly a war between Texas and Andalusia. Meanwhile, this war seems to have stagnated a little bit. Pirate of Inland doesn't seem particularly willing to get stuck in. Have they been told not to? Or are they suffering from high liberty desire? Not high enough. And that's an extra 33 regiments, which they could be putting to very good use. Has Britain given them any orders? Supportive. The Haitian pirates are being told to be aggressive. I think if I were Britain, I'd be telling Pirate of Inland to be going to attack Michigan and just open up that second front. We do have a couple of sneaky American soldiers coming through that way. So Texas has not sent all of their troops to the south. They've just sent a large number. The fort has fallen? Yes. Catamarca has fallen. Kashkakate has also fallen. So the next area to be fighting over will be Santa Catalina. It looks like there is a Brazilian force moving in to do just that. So Andalusia is letting Brazil take the brunt of the attrition from the sieges, which again is the right decision. Like, your sieges are going to be Brazil and Inca. Your fighters are going to be Texas and Andalusia here. In fact, I'm curious, what are the combat differences between Texas and Andalusia? So if we take a look at Texas's military, they have got 5.8 morale, which is actually lower than I expected it to be. They have got 105 discipline. And decent amount of siege ability. Professionalism is extremely low. But Texas has the national ideas, which gives them the fire damage plus 10%, extra morale, and then fire damage received minus 10. Andalusia has something similar, except for the fact that Andalusia has 6.7 morale, which is significantly higher than that of Texas. 123 discipline, which is even higher than that of Texas. Massive amount of fort defense. Massive amount of professionalism, which is going to reduce the increase the land fire damage done and the shock fire damage done, and also have better siege ability. Plus, they have the 15% reduction in fire damage received, and they also have a 15% morale, just like Texas does. So actually, Andalusia massively outclasses Texas. What's Texas done? I was expecting the military to be far stronger. They haven't finished quality. They have got offensive. They do not have defensive. And I know that Andalusia has. Apparently there is a bidding war going on between the US and the UK over the Polish army in Calais. The Brits are trying to get them to leave, and the US are matching the bids, up to 2,000 ducats so far. Crikey. Alright, so let's go and take a look at what Poland is doing over here. This is definitely Poland having an opportunity to make some real money, but also their reputation, because they have sold their forces as condottieri to the Americans, though I don't know if they're actually being paid for the privilege. If we could just go and take a look at the United States, we'll see if they are spending anything in diplomatic expenses. So the Uran forces and the Polish forces both not currently actually being paid. Meanwhile, Ulm is definitely dying. And it looks like they've also broken truce and gone after them again. But yes, this Calais siege is going on. Oh, battle. 53,000 Brits versus 48,000. The Brits are on a minus 116 discipline against 106. However, the British are bringing in a lot of extra troops. Pirate Vinland is also rushing to the assistance, and it is now 40,000 against 70,000 in favour of the Brits. The Americans do have another 20,000, but again, Midge being caught without his troops being properly consolidated, and it is costing him. This is the second time this has happened. And there we go, America is lost. These guys do stop marching, and it does look like Muncie is going to fall after all. Meanwhile, the attack in the back by the small units here, good attack here by the Haitian pirates. Has Britain changed Vinland's stance at all? Nope, still set to supportive. Which is why Pirate Vinland did march to assist, but you probably want to be using those guys to attack over here. Just open up multiple different fronts. Use your numerical superiority. Meanwhile, down here, we still have the massing of the armies. We do have units just sitting here taking attrition at the moment, although admittedly not huge amounts. 80,000 manpower. 1,000. Oh, Texas. Oh dear, and you're sitting there taking attrition. You can't really afford that. And then Andalusia coming in with 137,000. Yeah, I would say that Inca's in a bit of trouble here. I think England's just trying to get the USA to give up with a light deal, as 3 provinces is pretty limited. Yeah, that's true. So who's winning the bidding war? Is Poland still there? Poland is still there. Plutocratic is great for nations that don't plan to be on the front lines very often. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Texas is pretty isolated, so they would have the freedom to do other stuff. But Andalusia has been pretty dedicated to military. I would actually say that Andalusia is probably the best military in the game, like quality-wise. I would say that overall it's still going to be Hindustan, just because they can bring so many numbers. But Andalusia's quality is phenomenal. Prussia is there as well, but I don't think Prussia is going to have as many. 184,000 versus Andalusia's 286,000, yeah. Okay, everyone's starting to surge forwards. We do see that we are setting up a couple of supply things back here to mitigate the attrition losses, though they are still losing a little bit. Yeah, this is just a very, very big, very, very expensive carpet siege by the Brazilians. How much manpower are Brazil on? 46,000. So the manpower on the Incan side is going to come from Inca. Texas doesn't actually have that much capacity to fight. Meanwhile, the Americans are now on minus 16% war score. The attacks from behind continue to do some more damage, and we have the Americans moving in again. 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. None of them force marching. The British are force marching to reinforce a bit quicker. These guys are just stopped. Oh, Midge, what are you doing? Have you at least consolidated? Please tell me you've consolidated. Okay, you've consolidated. No, you haven't. So this 18,000's probably going to get stack wiped here. Because these guys are just not getting involved. I can imagine Midge just going right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, and there we go, stack wipe. America's down to just 40,000 men. Britain following up, force marching. They're going to catch this group, which is primarily artillery. Frontline has not shift consolidated, although Britain hasn't either, but they didn't need to as much. And this is going to be another stack wipe. America's coming in. Nope, nope, they've decided their 20,000 aren't worth risking. And this is a British victory right here. Those three massive defeats. Oh, America actually managed to survive. I'm actually surprised. Not a stack wipe. Meanwhile, down here, we have a solitary Andalusian soldier coming to start pinging away at some of the territories in the back. I think that Andalusia could probably do a naval invasion. I don't think that they need all of their troops here. Or maybe if Andalusia takes over the front line and then Brazil starts doing some naval invasions up into Venezuela and Colombia, then that might be a way of distracting, particularly Texas. And if they can take this northern quadrant, then Texas is going to have a real hard time reinforcing. If they lose any of their stacks. Texas is getting distracted by this. Don't get distracted by this. This is not worth it. It's a 3 development province. And they're taking the bait. So Texas has started to move away. We do have Brazil marching in on the fort. We have Inca reacting very quickly with force march, which is good. And we are going to see our first conflict. Unfortunately, this 36,000 stack of Texans have moved away. So we've got 119 discipline versus 114. Andalusia has yet to arrive. 116 versus 70,000. This is only in Highland, so it's a -1 as opposed to -2 from mountains. 6.8 morale versus 6.4. So these are some pretty high morale forces going at it here. Looks like the back lines on both sides are pretty solid, although actually the Inca could do with a little bit more artillery. And if the Inca could do with more artillery, then the who are they? Brazilians definitely could. And now it looks like the Andalusians are starting to arrive in more significant numbers. And with it, the kills are starting to rise as well. 2,000 versus 100, and this is the point where these guys should just retreat. And actually, this first wave, Brazil is losing. Inca have taken a fair amount of damage. The Texans have now arrived and starting to fill in the front line. It's the Incan artillery just holding steady and just pouring fire in. The two lines have now stabilized, 1,000 losses on either side. We do have another 70,000 Texans on the way, and these guys do not have very much left in the tank to come and reinforce. So it looks like this first fight is going to go in favor of the Inca. I'm actually surprised by that. I expected Andalusia to just wipe the floor with them. But it does look like these guys were able to rally their forces quickly enough and come to assist. And yeah, they suffered the first defeat. Meanwhile, America is fighting another 30,000 versus 60,000. They do have additional forces trying valiantly to get into the fight. And the Americans do look like they're going to have the quality of morale to hold the line here, but there are 60,000 fighting against 27, so maybe just the sheer numbers of Brits are going to win this, and yes, the Americans are indeed starting to fragment and move back. We are going to have a tiny little 3,000 man stack moving in, but they're probably just going to get pretty much insta-stack wiped. So... oh no, they arrived. I don't think that those 3,000 are going to be able to hold up this whole group, though. They just don't have enough troops for it. They're trying. They're trying very desperately. But no, they're not going to do it. And there we go. America sent packing once again. And we're now at 49% war score. Remember, 50% is the magic number. That's when Britain can start stab hitting the United States. And it did look like Britain wasn't going to be trying to take too much. I suspect that Britain's demands are now going to be significantly increased, seeing as they are winning that war pretty substantially. And Britain is also going to be pretty happy to have seen their allies managing to hold off Brazil and Andalusia. Inca and Texas are probably putting a lot of pressure on Britain right now to finish this war and come to their assistance. But so far they have not. And actually, Britain is going to be very, very... oh no, Britain's on their side. Britain could actually invade Andalusia. And there wouldn't be a huge amount that Andalusia could do about it. Hit and run strategy. Hit northern Iberia, get these guys to move north, hit the south, start taking this territory. Britain could do a lot of damage just through devastation and scorched earth. The Pope and Holy Victor wants to have a chat about how he's naming his country. When you get a minute, I'll bring him in when there's a quiet moment. You can do that now, Poet, I think. There is a bit of a lull in the fighting. Oh, Tunis is in the war. Hold on, sorry, I just need to see this. Tunis is currently fighting against the Congo. Sorry, okay, maybe... you have to be quick, Victor, I just saw another war started.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Basically, some of the most important thing I would want to talk about is the whole Holy Land business.
Right.
Yeah, I made the war, got the Holy Land, and then I made the decision to form it. It doesn't become a vassal, it becomes an independent country.
Right.
And basically I talked to the Martians and the Ottomans that before I did that, like, hey, can I borrow a province for you for a bit so I can try and vassalize them so I don't have the whole penalty for being too far away.
Mm-hmm.
He agreed to that, and once I made them independent, he said, by the way, you never said that I couldn't vassalize them, so I'm going to try to do that as well. He was a great power, and he owned land that Jerusalem has claimed on, so he just gave a province and got higher relationship and vassalized them.
Right.
And now that I got it back, I did it wrong, because rather than just force him to release it and then make a separate war against Jerusalem, I took the land as I hoped to just release it normally like you could do in other lands, to the old diplomacy button.
Mm-hmm.
But that can't happen, because it has Umbrian culture as its main culture, and Umbrian doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
Because of me. Because I became Austrian.
Oh dear. Oops.
Yes. So the whole land should remain in the care of the Papal State. It's for the best.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't cause any problems in the future.
Well, I hopefully not, but then again, that was something the Mamelukes have agreed upon, and I'm still allied to them, so...
Okay.
Hopefully it works out. We'll see.
And the Ottomans have been severely reduced in strength, so you could probably get some revenge against them if you wanted to.
I have got my revenge by taking all the land in Spain.
Fair enough.
I don't need to kick them anymore. Like, if the only thing I could want is Constantinople, simply because it's the second Rome, but I don't really want to.
I mean, that sounds like a CB to me.
I suppose, but I have been in war, one play war or the other for the past 7 sessions. I rather try to keep it a bit quiet and calm for a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which was also something else I want to point out, like, all the buildings I've been doing, like, I have been spending so much money on just building stuff, and I have finally managed to push trade into Genoa, so it's not on 40 or 50 like it has been in several
Oh,
sessions.
133, nice.
Yeah, it's finally growing again.
Well, you've always been one of the strongest trade powers, so that doesn't surprise me that much.
No, but I have mostly been living on increasing my trade efficiency rather than, bringing more value into it, because I've had trouble with it during all the wars.
Right.
Now that things have calmed down, and during the last session and this one, I've managed to make trade fleets that have been able to push more and more into it.
Gotcha. Oh, seeing a peace deal.